That is a best of three. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right. Three, two, one. And welcome to a dual cast by myself and my co-caster, Ken.
Kenigmatic.
Say that again.
Kenigmatic.
Kenigmatic. Okay, I was like reading that as like four different words all at once, so I was just like,
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, that
So
does that.
I'm just gonna call you Ken. Is that okay?
That's absolutely fine.
All right, and you can call me Baz. I am Basil or Baslil as people say it, but everyone can call me Baz or Patrick. And Ken, this is our first co-cast together. I know that I was we were talking through emails, and we finally got some some scrims to actually cast. So this will be exciting. This is against. Let me just pull up the team name so I get these two right. Um, this is against retired players and Mugra or Mud Mudra, I believe, Mudra Incorporated, and they are going to be screaming in a best of three, which is going to be interesting because best of threes are always fun because one team can either shut them out or it can be three games in total,
Mhm.
as we saw in the um, last tournament that was last weekend. We saw Team Doesn't Matter completely shut out every team on the boards, including Absolute Legends, which was formerly known as Team Sleepy. Team Doesn't Matter 2-0'd every team they came across, including the ones in the finals, and it was just a complete shutout. That team just deserves so much awesomeness, and we wish them all the best. But Ken, what are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm looking forward to seeing stuff I haven't seen yet. There hasn't been much that I've seen, sadly. I've been doing a lot of work and stuff on the side, but I want to see stuff that isn't current, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Definitely. We're just waiting for the players to get all set here, and we're just waiting for everything to go, go. I just gave them the all ready, so we will be starting here shortly. Those in those in chat. Thank you for viewing and just kind of watching this horrible co-cast. It's probably gonna go really bad because, hey, you know what? First time you cast with somebody, you don't know each other's ins and outs. So
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I know that they're asking to talk about comps and whatnot. So Ken, I know you're more of the knowledgeable player, a little bit more than I am. So why don't you go over some of the builds that they're currently running and just kind of talk about anything that kind of pops out or stands out at you.
All right. To clarify, I'm not that good.
You're better than
so,
me.
so I'll set it in sort of roles, if we will. So we have Miss Betsy Ross on Murda Inc. And if we look at the traits real fast, she's definitely going like a support build, trying to get that daze on, just to put a little bit of pressure on enemy team when they fight.
Mhm.
Now, if we look at Shawarma, fantastic name, uh, this is going to be a little bit different. This is a boon stripper build, so as well as I believe a confusion. Yeah, it'll strip some boons and it'll provide a little bit of confusion on the enemy team as well.
Mhm.
That'll help with like some with pressure, but it'll also help take away any benefit that the team will give themselves,
Right.
at least in team fights like that. If we move down to Dark Cool, I believe this is more. I'm not entirely well with elementalists, but it looks as though it's sort of a
Big support build, really.
yeah support DPS. It looks like most of them are going support. Little unnerving, but I want to see how that plays out.
Mhm.
Um, the Reaping Hunter sort of going like this range DPS. Um, Somewhat important to note that on his marksmanship line, he has Eagle Eye. That only increases longbow range in DPS by 5%, but he's using a short bow. So I'm wondering what's the idea behind that. It might just be a little bit of a mix up. We're going to see what's going on real quick. Um, as for Sparther, he's going to go for a huge trap build. So he's going to try and do area denial against the other team, which is going to be fantastic plays because I haven't seen that in a while. For the other team, trick shots. To wrap this up really fast, don't. It's sort of like an HGH variation. I think I've seen this before. It's going to be a little bit of help for the rest of his teammates with his elixirs and stuff like that, but also with that AoE damage with his HGH. Zambrini X, going the standard thief build. I'm pretty sure. I think this is standard.
Yeah, I
Max
mean,
initiative stuff like that.
yeah, for the most part, this is pretty standard. The Scholar runes are a little bit different. Generally, you see a thief run like the ogre or the runes that give the 4% if you have all six. I don't remember which one that is off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I mean, Scholar works just as well because we got the 10% damage when health is above 90, so that really gives the crit chance just that much more potency.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, sword dagger, short bow, super standard. Sigil, super standard, and his trait build is super. I almost said spec. We're not in World of Warcraft anymore. Hello, no. His trait line is definitely super standard as well. But he is running practice and practice tolerance, which gives extra vitality, which is something that is just kind of personal preference, really.
Yeah. We'll also see that Fugazi Heals is going sort of a bunker type setup with his Guardian. This is sort of par for the course. Uyo, this is what I'm going to say because I'm not going to say every individual
Zero
letter.
one, he told me to call him.
Binary for short.
Yes, binary.
He's actually going to be going like a semi-bunker ranger build. This will help alleviate some of the pressure that might occur later on at different points that isn't central. Generally, the bunker will sort of keep midpoint, but it might alternate. But binary is going to be hitting the side points, probably home in the beginning, and then moving on to far point. Depths of Despair. I'm really bad with NGs. Obviously, gonna have a little bit of
Looks like a condition. It looks more like a condition bunker build is I think what he's going for, just based
Okay.
off of some of his traits. He doesn't have a he obviously um, engineers for bunker builds aren't going to use the toughness trait line because that has to do with like turrets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this looks like more of a condition bunker build than anything else.
Okay. Yeah. So the way we're gonna see these team fights play out, possibly, um, Red Team Murda Inc. is gonna really. It looks like they're sort of aimed in understanding that there's going to be bunkers, so they're willing to just strip everything and cause as much pressure on the bunker as possible. While it looks like retired Playas understands this might happen, so they have more bunkers than usual. Not necessarily more. They have one solid bunker, but then the others are more of semi-roll or supportive bunkers instead. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. I'm wondering if Red Team will sort of focus on team fights more than Blue, while Blue is going to sort of rely on rotations and just particular spots on the map that they can hold for as long as possible.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think that the blue team's definitely going to go for more of a spot holding
Yep.
uh, kind of style. And then we have the red team just kind of really kind of focusing on, as you mentioned, the boom ripping and just making sure that blue team has a hell of a hard time actually being tanky.
Yep.
So I would definitely agree. Trick Shots' armor, by the way, is just so cool looking. Gold and black with that the little dragon kind of looking stuff. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Really looks nice on a char.
Absolutely.
Next week on Fashion Sense, we'll be talking about Savari and what you need to wear.
And the week after that, what not to wear.
Exactly, exactly.
All right.
Oh boy, we're still waiting on them to actually get started. I think they're waiting on another player. I think he got robbed or something. I'm not sure what's going on,
I
but
actually.
but
Okay. They're
yeah,
probably waiting on another caster or something like that. Is that what I'm understanding?
not entirely sure.
This is something about the streaming people will let us know when ready. So
Yeah, I know that Sean's streaming over on his channel, so or no, I'm sorry. I think he's just making a VOD and gonna do something with his show or something.
okay.
So, I know there's a couple other casters that are going to be streaming this stream. So if we're not what you like, guys, check over the other streaming channels on Twitch.tv and
Absolutely.
kind of give another variation of streams because hey, we're not going to be the best because we're still pretty new to the Guild Wars casting scene, as you can tell. So But that is okay. That's what we learn by feedback.
Yep. I think that's the biggest thing at the moment is the fact that
Hmm.
everyone is so new, and I think some people are hoping for like really professional casts. Like, guys, we're still sort of amateur hour here. Like, give us a bit. People that will improve the most will rise to the top, and that's just how that works. So at the moment, we're gonna sort of have to wait to see how the scene plays out. We can't just assume that we're gonna be on main stage, MLG, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, you want to know what? That'd be cool, but that is something that I definitely am working towards. But I think we'll get there eventually once the Guild Wars scene pops. It's doing a really good job so far. I mean, the community's been wonderful, really backing every tournament that we've had so far. I mean, we're the last tournament that we had. I think we were almost peaking 5,000 views, which is awesome
That's good.
for a game that kind of died off a little bit because it took a little bit longer than it should have to kind of get into fruition. But now that it's there, now that ArenaNet's really focusing on this esports stuff, it's starting to get a lot more popular, a lot more quicker than I thought was going to actually happen. So big props to the community, guys. We're going to kick it off here. We got 5 seconds to start off with. We're going to start off with Miss Betsy Ross here. This is going to be the Mesmer. Swiftness is thrown down to give the red team a nice big boost there. Taking a look at the map, we're going to see what kind of split we're going to go to. We are seeing blue actually take 2 engineers and a thief right into the mine. We are going to see the red ranger here, which is, I'm going to try to get to him right now. One moment. Going to be Sparther. Going to try and deny those things to the mine, but he's not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. And we are seeing Dark Cool and really trying to make sure that this point is going to get capped, but that is going to be a 3 cap there for blue. Dark Cool doing a decent job at really trying to make sure that they're going to stay off the point. But he even said in chat, well, that was unexpected, and that definitely was unexpected here. Let's actually go over to the keep here. And Ken, do you notice anything unusual about the split now that we have seen the team split and kind of go off to different various points here?
All I know is that blue team is playing really aggressively. I think that they understand that they can put a lot of pressure on the other team, so they're going to try and go for that. While red is sort of unexpectedly playing a very mobile game. We saw the Sparther actually stole Chieftain, and I do believe that red team actually got Spawner as well. That's why they're in the lead at the moment.
Yeah, they also got mine back. Darkhold was able to take his nice hiding spot back. And let's actually look over into the hedge real quick here. Right now, I mean, we're really just seeing blue, like you said, being super aggressive here. Binary is doing a really good job at really trying to shut down this bunkerness by the Reaping Hunter. He is the ranger, one of the rangers for the red team. And he's really trying to just deal a lot of damage right now. A couple good poison shots going off right now. Right now, it's actually I almost said thief versus thief, but that's definitely not the case. It's I'm really getting tongue-tied. I apologize, guys. It's been an interesting kind of week here for me. So, unfortunately, the blue ranger binary is not going to be able to take this point, and looks like Reaping Hunter is going to be able to take that. Right now, the cap is 1-to-1 with the hedge being neutralized. It is going to stay in the Reds' point of view for now. Going back over to the mine, if the minimap will let me here, it is completely uncontested. We are seeing Zambrini come over to the mine and try and maybe walk around Dark Cool, but it looks like he's going to actually come back and try and maybe assist in the keep right now.
Yep, and blue's actually going to be moving towards keep to sort of solidify their hold at the moment. We have one Mesmer from red team attacking, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that much. Actually, they went down already.
Yeah. We did see the portal kind of drop down from Chicken right now. He did try. He was actually able to come back to mine and help his team, and then come back, and he's doing a lot of really good damage here onto Fungi's heels. I believe that's how you say the name there. I'm terrible with names. I apologize, guys. And but Fungi's heels doing a really good job at keeping the point. He is a kind of a defensive staff guardian here. Staff Guardian really good at doing a lot of really good CC in combination with the weapon swap that he can do as well. So you can see he's given the Mesmer a lot of trouble, a lot of really good damage being going on to this Guardian, but he's able to negate it pretty well. So let's actually go into the mine area and look if anything's going to actually try and happen right now. No, still very uncontested for the mine area. Blue does now have their henge back, so it is going to be a 2 cap for 1 in favor of the blue team. But they did just get spawnier. The red team did just get spawnier, so they are up in points just a little bit.
Yep. Blue actually trick shots starting out that spawnier attack, but red team was able to steal it. So we're going to see this huge team fight in the middle. We're going to see how this boon stripping can do for red team.
Definitely, definitely. Right now, the keep seems to be having the most attention right now. Unfortunately, we did see Zambini get mowed, and he is going to go down here. This is going to be 1 stomp. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to negate it. Yeah, unfortunately, it does not get negated, and the stomp does go off there. I believe a blind was used for the Mesmer onto that the blue member there, so that's always very, very useful to have those blinds and kind of the stabilities and whatnot. To stomp people, but unfortunately we are going to see no, he does not go down there. Very, very nice job. He was able to negate that damage very, very quickly by switching over to his shield weapon set there and completely negate the last bit of damage that would have actually taken him down. So very, very good job by Fungi's heals.
Yep, and blue team was able to get chieftains, so that's their, I believe, their first NPC kill on this map.
Yep.
Reaping Hunter's actually, his role is putting pressure on the home point for blue, and I think that's what is helping them the most in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a very, very good job at really just kind of constantly putting pressure onto the henge right now. Unfortunately, he is going to go down right now. He does stop the stomp, but he is going to go down, and they're going to be able to take blue back. Going again back once the keep here. Nothing too significant going on. They were able to fend off the red team. We are seeing that portal being dropped, though, and unfortunately, it's going to get negated here. Here comes Chicken once again to try and... nope, that was just an illusion, so he did a good job at confusing the players and the caster, so very, very good job by Chicken there. Taking a look at the back at the henge once again, we are seeing Sepher versus Binary. Binary really trying to just keep him off that point, make sure it doesn't get neutralized there. Doing a very, very good job, but unfortunately he's going to be taking another red punch to the face. He is going to get his backed up here by Zambini. Let's actually take a look at through Zambini's point of view. This is the thief for the retired player's blue team here, taking quite a substantial amount of damage here, but unfortunately for him, he does not have the condition removal in stealth, so he's going to have to be really, really careful with all those conditions on him. He is using that sword build, though, being able to rip boons off of both the rangers, which is going to be a big deal. He's going to try and get this other player down. Can he do it? Nice job there by Zambini, being able to get both players down before they are actually able to res each other. He's going to use one of his blinds to try and stomp the Spartha. Spartha is going to go down, and we are going to see Mess Betsy Ross possibly go down here as well. That is another double stomp there for Zambini. Very, very nice job.
Yep. Red team is doing as much as they can. They're trying to take blue team's home point, but I think the problem is that red team's elementalist is Darkpool is sort of sitting at their home point trying to defend, but there's not enough pressure there. All of the pressure is being put on Keep and Henge.
Yep.
So if he wants to help his team more, he needs to at least help in team fights a little bit. He's the only real bunker on their team.
No, I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree. Let's actually take a look back again at Henge here. Binary versus the Red Ranger, I believe, Sparther. I believe I'm saying that name correctly. Both of them have pretty similar builds, so it's just going to be able to see who's going to be able to really kind of be the best ranger. Unfortunately, he does get backed up here by his Mesmer friend. Binary is going to get mowed, come around, and do some nice work there. Keeping that point there, down goes the portal. They're going to teleport out of there. They will be back. No, unfortunately, the portal does go back away, and blue team once again grabs the henge.
Yep. Red team's actually going to be going towards Svanir, hopefully going to get that to sort of close the gap between the points between them and blue team. So really it's going to come down to NPC kills and holding the points, which is no surprise to anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, right now the score is 450 to 400, give or take a few points. And right now it looks like the Murda Incorporated is not going to be able to take this game away from retired players. This is a best-of-3, guys, so keep that in mind. They do have another game and another shot to be able to actually take this. But they are going for both the NPCs, which is going to give them a couple extra points, so that might be able to kind of catch them up in the lead just enough. But it is 1-for-1 capture point right now. Henge, once again, is being neutralized. Let's take a look over at the Henge once again. Tons of kind of stuff going around. A lot of Mesmer portals and just kind of a lot of shiny colors kind of being portrayed
Oh my
everywhere.
goodness.
But unfortunately, they do get the steal on the very last second there. That what actually happened was the engineer came in and was able to steer, I don't think so, steal Chieftain and get them the points, just what they needed there. So very, very good job for retired players, really kind of showing that being able to completely counter comp the Mudraw's incorporated comp is something that's very, very important in Guild Wars 2. Ken, why don't we go over some of the stuff that you saw there real quick before the next game starts?
I can't talk about specifics. I do know that some of the people on red team were really like specific about the roles, while blue was more akin to moving around with their roles, sort of adapting to the situation. And really, I think that's what helped them the most.
Okay,
Um,
awesome.
but the steals were what did it
Yeah,
for blue team right at the end. Uh, but it's really strange though because red had most of the NPC kills, so it just goes to show that you can't rely on these secondary mechanics all the time. They're good if you have them consistently, but they're not good if you rely on them.
yeah, and one thing I want to take in mind too is um, Binary and Sparther were the ones kind of sparring most of the game for Henge. And if we take a look at Binary's spec right now, he has more of just a super defensive build with damage. But Sparther has a little bit more offensive build with some toughness thrown in. So I think the difference there kind of played a key role in the Henge fights, just with Binary being a little bit extra tanky.
Yeah, and that's just with the build. That's been used rather normally, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that's the meta for Ranger at the moment, aside from a few other builds.
hmm Yeah, that's the one I currently use on my Ranger. So
Me too, and I love it.
yeah, it's great because you're just like, oh, 5 people, whatever. I got like 15 minutes to kill. I'll be right back. Go make a sandwich.
I don't
So
think it's that strong, but it's strong enough to where you can deal with the pressure that somebody gives
yeah,
you, and that's perfectly what you need. You don't bunkers are great, but they don't provide enough damage. But the semi bunk that Ranger's able to do is almost like it's really good for these
yeah,
team compositions because they're able to hold down a point, but also damage down individuals if need be.
yeah. No,
And that's
most
what makes them
definitely,
so
most
effective.
definitely. Ken, what can you tell us about this map? What are some of the strategic strong points in this map?
Aside from rushing the Guild Lord at the end, which we've seen a few times in these past tournaments, which have been fantastic and impressive. But generally, what you're going to have to do in this map, at least I believe this is meta, or at least par for the meta, is that it's usually a 1-4 split. It can be sometimes be a 1-3-1 split, but generally, a lot of the stuff that's going to happen is going to be on Graveyard.
Yeah,
Uh, so a lot of the focus will be on capturing that midpoint because that allows for quick mobility to the side points, either home or like far.
yeah,
So that's what is really going to come down to. We're going to see here, I think, the team compositions are going to be the most important. With Force Niflhel, it's a lot down to roaming, a lot down, I wouldn't say luck, but timing.
mhm,
With Legacy of Foefire, it's a lot about map control and team fights
yeah.
instead.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, the graveyard being definitely the key point and being able to really kind of take these side points quickly. But again, we do have a lot of really good kind of points that other players can just kind of watch, and obviously from the graveyard, just kind of up here as well on these little ledges, can watch from people coming from the quarry, and then of course we have the other steps on the other side of the graveyard. They'd be able to watch from people coming from the waterfall or actually going to the waterfall as well. So I mean, this map really does offer a lot of strategic points. Again, up here on these little ledges here, just being able to really kind of see where's coming what, and graveyard just being such an open area, it's a lot harder to keep. Sometimes teams will just completely forget it and just take those 2 points on the side and let that team just really kind of sit in the middle and kind of go, crap, what do we do now?
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on the team that's holding midpoint. If they're not able to sort of compete with the mobility of the other team, they're sort of at a crossroads.
Yeah.
They have to adapt in that sense. So
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
this is 1-0. Blue wins this. It's a best of three, so they win. If they don't, we're gonna go on to the third round. As for the split, it's actually for red team 2-2-1, and blue team is 1-3 No, 2-3-0.
Yeah,
So
definitely, definitely. Waterfall actually is has the thief for the retired players and binary for the retired players versus a elementalist, and I believe I cannot honestly. It's actually Dark Cool. Who actually picked up one of the elementalist great swords, fiery great sword, and is really chucking away at the blue members. Unfortunately, we do see the thief and the dark cool go down, and it is now a 1 versus 1 with 2 players officially down. I'm not sure if Zambini is going to be able to get up here. We'll come back to that a little bit later and see what's going to happen. Let's actually look over at the graveyard real quick. A lot of stuff going on in the graveyard right now. I mean, if we follow Chicken Son right now, he's pretty low health here, really trying to get up. He does get rallied there, and he's able to do some damage there, but he's very, very low health. Unfortunately, he does go down there once again. Looks like the waterfall is going to be capped by the red team from the looks of it here. Let's actually go back to the waterfall real quick, and we see Binary doing a lot of damage and just being able to stay alive. Like you said, that half tankiness just really makes him an annoyance. Both players were able to get up, so it is a complete reset on this waterfall fight right now. And we're really just it's going to be just kind of who can actually cap what. Unfortunately, the blue team just now got a 5 points. They are actually down almost 50 points right now, and that early on in the game is huge, Ken.
yep, the reason that is the way it is. Red team did a 2-2-1 split, I believe it was. So they've had a point this entire time. So while everybody's been fighting over neutralizing and capping certain points, red team's just been sitting on a point this entire time. Blue has put no pressure on that point at all. So that's why they're leading by this huge margin, and that just goes to show that map awareness is really important, at least in this game.
No, definitely, definitely. And now it seems like the retired players did send an extra player over to the waterfall area. They are going to be able to cap it now, and that's going to be a kind of a huge deal for retired players. Being able to cap waterfall and take the graveyard is a big deal. Having a side point in the middle is something to be very, very feared by any team, really, because the graveyard's so hard to grab and keep. So once you're able to grab the graveyard, you're sitting pretty, and you're going to be able to say, okay, we have 1 point. It's okay to be contested. Let's go focus on the 2 side points and kind of try and force the team to maybe split up the resources a little bit more than they actually wanted to.
Yep, and now we're just going to see these huge team fights play out. We're going to see how that actually comes around.
Yeah,
So it
yeah, I mean, it's right now there's just so much going on. We're going to have to wait for a lot of it to kind of calm down to see what's going to really happen. But Ken, as far as these builds are concerned, what have you seen kind of play a big role for each team right now?
the bunkers for blue team have been astounding. That's what is sort of setting the precedent for these matches at the moment, and that's why they're at least closing the gap at a fairly steady rate. Red team, though, is able to just take down each team member just individually with those with the crazy DPS as well as the boon stripping. That's exactly what they need. But the only problem with that is that Legacy of Foefire is very specifically oriented towards team fights. It feels like.
Yes. No, I would definitely agree. I mean, Graveyard is obviously the kind of the team fight center point of this map. Honest, but right now I've been following Trick Shots for a while, and he's dealing a substantial amount of damage to this red team. They're really not prepared for his grenade DPS, which is just something that's just very, very feared, very, very hard to kind of deal with. He does use Elixir S right there to get out of the knockback. And he's just dealing a lot of damage to this red team, and they really are not prepared for it.
Yep. So now it's gonna come down to this is Blue's game to lose, but Red's gonna have to seriously pull out the stops. They had a really good advantage in the beginning, but I'm not sure if it was enough.
No, I mean, I would definitely agree there. I mean, again, Trick Shot's just playing a vital role in these mid graveyard team fights right now. I mean, the damage he's able to do to 3 to 4 players at once is astounding.
Oh yeah, with that as well as the huge support that he's able to do with the elixirs, it's great.
No, I would definitely agree. Let's take a look over at Waterfall real quick here, and it's going to be a lot of red. I only see a couple blue splotches on my screen right now, so it looks like, unfortunately, Fungi heals. Actually, no, he does get rallied there. Nice job using one of the engineers' Elixir R to really be able to res a teammate quickly. For those of you who don't know, Elixir R does have a subcategory where you can throw it on the ground and it deals extra regenerative abilities to your allies, which is also very useful because you can actually res yourself if you cast it at the right time. Right now, unfortunately, we're not really seeing a lot of action at Waterfall. We're going to see Trick Shots and Zambini really try and take this quarry back here. They did use the Shadow Refuge stealth here, and he's going to attack from the grenade standpoint here, dealing a lot of damage, but unfortunately going to get his projectiles reflected because of that null field from the Mesmer there. But he is able to support his teammate pretty well, but unfortunately his teammate does go down. He is pretty squishy. He's going to abandon all hope and come back to the graveyard and try and take the graveyard back.
Yep. It's actually awesome. Some of the plays that I've been seeing have been fantastic. On Fugazi, he had all of these conditions all at once, so it's definitely apparent that red team is actually spiking down with conditions. So we're seeing it right now on Trick Shots. In fact, they're attempting to sort of condition spike him down.
Yeah. And it's working too. I mean, he's able to heal once, all the conditions get back on him, and his health just drops. Trick Shot, unfortunately, does go down. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get rallied or not, taking a lot of damage, and no, that is going to be a complete wipe there for Trick Shots. But let's actually look over to Miss Betsy Roth. Wow, toy boat, say that 5 times fast. Betsy Ross here. She's dealing a ton of damage here to the blue team at the waterfall. Again, they've been able to really kind of control this waterfall almost all game. The point values are 175 to 215 with blue, or 214, excuse me, with blue not getting anything. Right now, they do not have any points. They might actually be 3-capped here. Let's actually take a look at the quarry here to see what's going on. Unfortunately, they now own the graveyard and the quarry. So if blue team's not able to get this waterfall point here, they are going to be 3-capped, and that's going to put them in a very, very scary spot there, Ken.
Oh, absolutely. So blue, it just goes to show that this was in fact blue's game to lose. They really need to focus on solidifying their lead at the moment, even if it's only by 4 points. They definitely need to sort of step up the game, bunker down really hard, at least on midpoint,
yeah,
and sort of move around red team. But red team's pressure is just astounding, and that makes the bunkering very hard for blue team.
Yeah, I mean, with this game, we saw it in the last tournament over the weekend, where Team Doesn't Matter was able to really kind of say, okay, we're going to take these 2 points and just screw anything else. They bunkered down and they just kind of kept them. Now, once that happens, it's going to be very easy for you to keep those points. But as we're seeing, blue's not having a good time at actually capping the points because they don't have them. Now, bunker builds don't really offer that much damage. They offer a lot of defense and a lot of really good just kind of, I'm going to stay here and keep this point. But Ken, as you've said, they're having a hard time getting the points back now.
Yeah, but it does look like Zambrini is going for quarry, which has been barely touched by anybody. It's pretty much a ghost town at this point. But maybe this will help alleviate some of the pressure on midpoint as well as waterfall. So that way, blue team is able to maneuver around in just a way where they can regain their lead at the moment.
Yeah, we do see Chicken Shanum actually drop a portal just outside the cap point at Graveyard. He's probably thinking he's going to try and use that to try and do some escaping there, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to use it there. Blue team's going to be able to kind of clean up the middle. Unfortunately, he does go down here. This is going to be a stop and a finish here. He does have his Deception ready, but he's just going to let the team stop. Again, Waterfall just being continued to be contested here. It is now 269 to 239 in favor of Murda Incorporated. Team retired blue players is just not able to get those capture points and keep them. Unfortunately, Quarry was taken back once again. Blue team did just take a capture point, but I'm not sure which one it was because it doesn't show anything on my map. I'm not sure if that was a glitch in the announcer there, but I believe that, okay, they did just take Graveyard. Okay, it took a couple seconds for it to show up there. Apologies. But they do have a point now. It is just 1-1, and they are down by about 30 points, Ken. What can they do to try and come back?
Well, since the bunker is already on a point that they own, they're going to be able to keep Graveyard a little bit better than they have been. But right now, they're going to have to take away Quarry from red team, as well as bunker down there a little bit,
yep,
with a few members possibly, because it just hasn't been the center of focus. Waterfall has been this war of attrition this entire time.
Yeah.
They would really benefit from taking Quarry and holding it.
No, they would. And we do see Zambini and depth of despair, really try and take down this red team composition right now. Unfortunately, I think that Chicken was a little bit lagging right there. He just kind of stood there, wasn't able to actually get his friend up there, but unfortunately, I'm not sure why my camera just went the wrong way. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, the blue team is going to take it from the Murda Incorporated. Blue team is retired players. I'm sorry, I keep saying blue team. My apologies. Still not used to calling people by their names here. But now it is a 2-cap in favor of retired players, and we're seeing them slowly kind of bring it back up there, Ken. Do you think that they're going to be able to hold this, or are they going to have a hard time holding Corey?
Uh, well, it's red team's close point, so it's going to have a lot more pressure on it than usual, especially in comparison to their far point. But Binary is actually capturing Waterfall at the moment, while everybody else is in middle, duking it out. And it's really interesting to note that Waterfall has been this area that's just been a bloodbath, and now that it's finally like abandoned, they're able to sort of do what they really need to do and capture this extra point.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, they're at 3 point. They're at 3 cap.
Yeah, it was a 3-cap, and we're actually taking a look at Fungi's heals right now. Honestly, just kind of trolling this Ranger for Murda Incorporated. Honestly, he's been able to hold the point pretty much all the entire time this has been here. Unfortunately, he did dodge out of it, which instantly gave the red team a chance to start neutralizing the point. So kind of an oops by him there. But as we can just see, he's just continually being able to just take all these damage, and he's just kind of brushing it off like it's none of his business. Ken, do you think that the Ranger will be able to get him down eventually, or is he just kind of trying to just buy as much time as possible?
Probably just trying to buy as much time as possible. Binary, I believe, if we looked at it, was a lot more bunkerish, while Reaping is less bunkerish but more damage. So now we see that both of them are down at the moment. But Zabrini coming in, trying to save the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Binary is going to be able to, yep, he is going to get rallied there. He's going to throw down Healing Spring, which does a ton of regeneration healing. And Reaper Hunter saying, you would have died if your buddy wasn't there. That's probably true. He did have a little bit extra damage there from Binary. Ken, over at Graveyard, is there anything that the red team can do to try and take away the blue team's capture point right now?
Right now, well, the Fugazi heals actually came back in with the bunking roll, so it's going to be really interesting. Oh my goodness, and blue team actually wins.
Yes.
It went way faster than I expected.
Yeah, apologies, guys. I thought we had a couple minutes left, but apparently they were able to take it, and that is going to be a complete shutout for the retired players. They were able to really just kind of show that in the first game, really controlling those points really made a difference. But in this game, Ken, what do you think made a difference in the play style? Do you think it was the map, or do you think it was them really struggling with keeping points?
I think it's a combination of both. With that particular map, it's really down to you can stress rotation as well, but primarily it's team fights. And when you have a team that has a bunker, a semi-bunker, and another semi-bunker, at least I would call it a semi-bunker, it's really up in the air. Even with boon stripping and high damage, I don't think it matters that much, especially if blue team is able to sort of rotate better than the other team. So actually it's yeah, there we go. I was looking at the stream, I'm like, you need to switch this around, buddy.
Yeah, apparently I'm dyslexic and I can't actually put it left and right correctly, so
but no, you're good. But really, and it also goes to show that being 3-capped, it doesn't sound like a big deal because it's only one more extra than having 2-capped, and only 2 more than having 1-capped. But you're thinking about it, your points go up exponentially at a huge rate compared to having only 1 point, which is sort of par for the course if you think about it. When you have close point, far point is the other teams, and midpoint is in contention. So when you have all 3, it just skyrockets, and that's why that end of the game sort of caught us off guard, is that when that happens, it puts you in a frenzy. You shouldn't panic, but you should definitely focus on at least getting one down and then working towards the other one.
Oh, by far. I mean, I would definitely agree. As far as like the MP, wow, I cannot talk today. Oh my gosh, the MVP of both games for each team. Ken, who do you think really kind of was the star player for each team right now?
I don't do MVPs traditionally. I do MVPs, and I have two for each team. Reaping Hunter and Chicken Shawarma did fantastic. Reaping Hunter was always where he needed to be, no questions asked. He just did what he did, and he did it fantastically. He went down a few times, but the way he did it, the way he was able to put pressure on the other team was fantastic. You could tell that they were obviously talking with each other. Chicken Shawarma was almost always on midpoint, or at least helping in team fights, just trying to take down the other team in as much pressure as possible. While on blue team, Zimbrini was killing people left and right, as well as backcapping fantastically. And while Binary did a wonderful job as a semi bunker, I have to give it to trick shots, dude. Uh, Maybe it's how HGH is supposed to be ran, but with HGH, he sat on high points, especially on that map, and just rained hell upon the other team, and that made the other team have to decide, well, am I gonna like sort of play the edge over here on this point, or am I going to sort of bunker down and deal with it,
Yeah,
or am I
no,
going to leave it altogether?
yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, honestly, his build is a little bit different because don't HGH bunkers usually use Elixir B and a different Elixir instead of S?
Yeah, he's more. It seemed like he was more of a support, but if you looked at it, every time that he was on the high ground attacking a point, there were other team members there as well. He was able to assist with that support and the AoE damage, and that worked really well with the rest of his teammates. It was a really good synergy, actually.
Yeah. I mean, and if we take a look at his sigils or his runes, it's really interesting. He has um, two um, two, what is this? Rune of Fire, two Rune of Lisa, uh, and two Rune of Strength.
Hmm.
So he's focusing all on duration increasing and power. Obviously, the Lisa is going to give him his perception. So I really like his build. I'm actually going to have to try it because it's definitely a condition damage focused build, but he is pretty tanky still. Um,
Yeah,
I really enjoy his build a lot.
it's an awesome tweak because he generally with HGH, at least from my understanding, is that they have strength, they have Lissa, or no, my goodness, I can't read today. They have strength. Ah, I can't read today. They have the runes of fire. They have the runes of strength, and I'm trying to remember what other rune, but that gives them might duration out the butt, and that's what the elixirs are for. That's the only reason why they split up their armor between those three runes. But he sort of pulled it out and opted for a condition duration because that would allow him to apply a little bit more pressure on any points that he was trying to AoE or attack against. So it's an interesting tweak, and his amulet also got switched out. Generally, I'm trying to remember which one it is. I'm trying to remember what amulet specifically, but it's definitely not rabid. Trying to remember
Isn't
exactly what
it?
it is.
Isn't it usually the soldier one?
I think so. Soldier, but it changes it so that way there's a rabid jewel in it. So that way there's just a little bit of condition damage, if
Yeah,
I'm understanding this correctly. He forewent that entirely and
yeah.
just went
He
a
went
rabid amulet.
full condition, but again, the rabbit amulet gives him toughness as well, which
Oh
is
yeah.
something that he lacks a lot. I mean, if we look at his armor, he only has 1500 toughness, which really isn't a lot for a squishy build, but on the same side, it is a lot for kind of a high HP, high damage um, engineer build, really. And he's also running supply crate, which is also interesting. Um,
I
like you
thought
said, he's going a little bit more support.
yeah, with that AoE stun and the elixirs and the HGH going out there like mad, he's able to put on AoE pressure, he's able to assist his teammates, he's able to do an AoE stun. Like it's a very support role. It's a little strange because HGH is like this huge AoE damage powerhouse, but he sort of twisted it so that way he can take people by surprise,
Mhm.
but also in a at least understandable way. Condition damage is sort of, I believe, with the meta, not necessarily par, but it's to be somewhat expected. It's easily counterable, at least.
Yeah.
But with that, it's
Time to do some real
you're
damage.
expecting HGH with engineers at least, and with that, you're switching it up, and you're like, oh well, I am HGH, but by the way, I'm also condition damage duration increase, so you're gonna have to deal with that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's I like the versatility that the engineer gives because you can say, okay, if you're an engineer, you have to be bunker or else you're not going to be viable in high level PvP, which is completely untrue because they have such a high versatility when it comes to damage, condition damage, um, survivability, utility.
The
I mean,
match
it's
starts
just
soon.
so much just craziness.
Absolutely, man.
Um,
This has been an
yeah,
awesome
yeah,
series, by the way.
yeah. I've really
Last
enjoyed
chance
it.
to nail down your
Um,
strategy.
Looks like they're actually going to play another game. This is just a fun game, guys.
Accelerate.
So this is all just for fun here.
Hold
So
on to your
let's just
points.
kind of look
Seize
at this one, and
theirs.
it's on the one of my favorite maps, Battle of Kylo. Love this map. Ken, anything unusual about their split?
Not that I see. The Mesmer for the red team sort of looked ambivalent towards going towards Trebuchet opted out, missed Betsy Ross. It looked like it almost looked like he was going to go to ML, but then decided for Trebuchet and then said, "Ah, screw it, let's go to Mansion."
Take the capture point.
Yeah, unfortunately, the blue team does have their Trebuchet out there, but it looks like Darkpool's going to pop that Crushing Earth, deal a ton of bleeding damage and a ton of just standard damage to the point right now. Lots of damage being put on pressure from the Mudraw Incorporated team, but unfortunately, Darkpool's going to have to back out there. Sparther is going to get stomped out, and he is going to be going down as well. Blue team is going to take the Clock Tower, which is really one of the hardest points to defend on this map because if you have a Trebuchet and if you're being trebbed, it's equally hard to be defensive or offensive on this point.
Hmm. Actually, it looks like Reapy Hunter went directly for trick shots after capturing windmill. This is sort of an understood sort of action to take, at least from my experiences. Home point will generally go towards the enemy treb unless somebody goes for the enemy treb outright. But it looks like Reapy Hunter went down fairly swiftly.
Yeah, unfortunately, with all the healing power that this engineer has right now, and again, that condition damage just makes it all more difficult for a ranger to really deal with a high DPS engineer right now. And he's gonna go back in the treb and just continue to pound away. I think he's gonna actually go for Mansion right now. Yeah, he is going to start trebbing Mansion. Big hit there on that Trebuchet, getting all three members, including the pet there, getting hit by the Trick Shots Meteor. That's that's a big deal. I mean, Trebuchets deal a ton of damage here. We are seeing Dark Cool charge Crushing Earth there. Unfortunately, no one is going to dodge that there. We are seeing Mesmer Bubble come up to reflect some projectiles. More Mesmer, I'm sorry, Mesmer, not Mesmer. More meteors raining down here from this Trebuchet. Another one's going to hit there, unfortunately getting a lot of the clones in the process, dealing a substantial amount of damage to those clones and completely really just kind of getting rid of them. We are seeing Binary or 0-1 being able to take the Mansion as well. And it is a 2 cap to 1 cap right now, and they're ahead by about 50 points, and that's a very, very big deal right now.
Yep, and Reaping Hunter doing something. I'm pretty sure other people do this, but sort of hiding in the back, so people don't necessarily see it. So if somebody's trying to capture windmill, he could pop out real quick and be like, "Ha, I'm actually here," and sort of take him off guard. But I'm wondering if that's a good decision because really, when you're 2 capped, you have to play more aggressive. So you can't sit and play defensively unless you understand that your team's going to like win,
Yeah.
or at least win these team fights. And Chicken Shawarma attempting to utilize Trebuchet at all, so I don't know why he's sort of sitting there at the moment.
Yeah. Um, he might have disconnected, possibly.
Or alt tab, whichever. But he
Could-
did. But he
could be.
did set up. He did set up traps.
Mhm.
So he's lying in wait.
Yeah. We are actually going to take a look at Zambini right now, trying to take out this Mesmer, but unfortunately, Mesmers are definitely the paper to the Thieves' Rock there, unfortunately. So that is not going to be a very, very good time for Zambini. He gets away with 296 health, going to be able to pop the Hide in Shadows. That's something that Thieves really have to be careful with. Mesmers are going to be able to eat you alive pretty easily. because they do have that clone. He's actually going to come back and jump in again, once again, taking out Trick and Shawarma with the help of Trick Shots. And looks like Trick Shots, he actually did try and use his Elixir S to stomp, but unfortunately the Mesmer did a little sneaky thing and disappeared, reappeared somewhere else. That thing has screwed me so many times, Ken, it's not even funny. Like,
I've done it a few times whenever I play Mesmer, which is like once in a blue moon, and I absolutely love it. However, I do screw up, and I get like really too excited, and I press my 2 and immediately click, so I like move 2 centimeters to the right.
yeah. I have actually been at the bottom of Clock Tower once, used it, and ended up at the top of Clock Tower and was able to rally myself.
That is amazing.
I was
that
like,
needs to happen more often.
I was like, that needs to exactly. That just needs to happen more often. And it looks like, unfortunately, Trick Shots is going to really try and take down the Miss Betty Ross, but having a difficult time trying to find the real one. I actually think the real one is up in the. No, the real one is actually the real one just got that one trick. She actually was able to port right back up to the clock tower using the deception skill. She was invisible for a couple seconds there, and she looks like she might actually get rallied here from 2 of her teammates there. Nice job there by the Murda Incorporated team. Being able to rally a Mesmer is always very, very good, but she's going to go down here once again. Again, those conditions just ticking away at her very, 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 very quickly. The confusion condition is just very, very potent at the moment.
It's important to note the blue team actually captured Windmill at some point. So Reaping Hunter was at the wrong place at the wrong time. If he had been there right when Zimbrini was trying to attack it, he would have done a much better job with those pre-laid traps. But at the moment, Red Team was actually able to recap their home point. So that's sort of where we're staying at the moment. We need to see a more aggressive play by Red. But whenever they move to Mansion, they get attacked by Blue. They move just right to sort of trap them on those stairs. So I need to see what needs to happen is Red needs to move in a very surprising fashion, either through AoE stealth or portals, in order to take Mansion and then hopefully move on to the midpoint.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of midpoint here, we're seeing 2 Mesmers here for Murda Incorporated against the Fungi's Heels. And he instantly goes down to a knockback and a Treb combo. That was a nasty little bit there for him to go down there, and he's not too happy about that in chat. Actually, kind of giggling to himself as well. And going to be throwing down that healing circle. He might actually be able to res here, but unfortunately it's probably not going to be the case. The Mesmer is going to use a decoy and stealth and stomp, which is always very, very useful. Unfortunately, no, he's not going to. I think he's just kind of trolling right now. Yeah, he is. Okay, yep. Unfortunately, Chicken Swarm are just going to be able to take him down with ease with the rest of his illusions there. Going back into the mansion, though, we do see quite a bit of damage coming out to the wow. Just one of those nights.
Depths of Despair.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Tag out.
Take it away. Since you're able to say it, go ahead.
Depths of Despair?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, there you are.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, pretty substantial beatdown. I don't think either teams were really trying. I think they're just having fun right now. But, I mean, for the most part, Ken, I think that we have seen what a team can really do if they are... if they know their own team composition well. I know there's a lot of times where we see some really weird compositions, like a Necro or a Warrior in there, and then they just flat out destroy people, and everyone's like, how the heck does that happen? Warriors are bad at PvP, blah, blah, blah. But it's really just kind of about knowing your team synergy and knowing how well your comp's going to work against another team's composition right now.
Exactly, and I think that is actually the reason why Red is down by 200 points. I think they wanted to do these team fights. They wanted to see what piece of the puzzle they weren't looking at correctly. Yeah. And the points really tell that they still haven't solved that puzzle, which really sucks. I want to see Red I want to see a boon strip that works, because I have never seen it before in my life, and I want to see it so badly.
Yeah, I mean, boon stripping, I think, will become more relevant as the game progresses and as ArenaNet keeps balancing the game. And just really understanding how this game is going to go. Because in Guild Wars 1, the combat was nowhere near what it is right now.
Oh, no.
I mean, Guild Wars 1 was a lot more simplistic, I feel. There wasn't any dodging. There wasn't any of this just really intricate combat system. It was more of just, okay, everyone's going to use X comp because that's the best. Um,
Debatable.
well, I mean, to a certain point, I mean, you kind of had to have a monk. I mean,
Also debatable.
well,
Ritualists.
yeah, ritualists were pretty sick, but I stopped playing before those came out in Guild Wars 1, so I didn't really have
Oh, okay.
the pleasure of seeing those in action. But I hear they were really fun, really
They
fun to
were
play.
really fun. Did you
But
ever have the pleasure of having to go up against Iway? Because I'll
no.
tell you right now, they had 0 monks, and you
Oh,
couldn't kill them.
oh, well, that sounds like a pain in the butt.
It was a pain in the butt. Aside from Necro Factory, there's a few things in Guild Wars 1 that if you
Necro
had played
Factory
through
was
it,
awesome.
I hated it. I hated
So
Highway.
funny.
I hated Necro Factory. I hated arena battles where a person with a particular Kurzik skill could just make all of these spirits and just move them across the map and spring up randomly. And you're going, I don't know how to fight this.
Yeah. Well, I remember before the Necro Minion bug fix, you could have like 40, 50, 60 bone
Oh
minions
yeah,
out at once, and
they
everyone was,
eventually
oh, it was great.
they eventually capped it. For Go Gold a bus or Go Gold U bus. It's actually a best of 3, and we just finished up. Retired players won 2-0 Mudra because it's two. It's a best of 3. Where we're going to do the third match. This is it right now, but it's not really official.
Yeah,
They're more or less just sort
just
of
scrimming.
yeah, just to have fun. But this has been an